You just lost 23 minutes of focus, and you don't even know it. That quick glance at your phone 4 seconds ago? Your brain is still over there. It's been hijacked, and it won't come back for almost half an hour. Now imagine the opposite. You sit down. The world goes quiet. Your phone is invisible. Tabs are closed. And for 90 uninterrupted minutes, you produce more meaningful work than most people do in an entire week. That's not a fantasy. That's a trainable state, and there's a system to get there. Behavioral science has been studying this for over a decade. The 23-minute recovery cost was measured by researchers at UC Irvine. The friction principles come straight from Stanford Behavior Design Labs. None of this is opinion. In the next 12 minutes, I'm going to walk you through the exact 6-layer focus operating system used by people who do their best work in the most distracted era in human history. Environment design, friction engineering, internal trigger control, the attention residue effect, the 10-minute rule, and the one metric you've never measured that decides whether deep focus is even possible for you. But before we get into the system, there's one specific 90-second decision you make every single morning that determines whether deep focus is even possible for you that day. Most people make this decision unconsciously, and it's the reason their willpower collapses by 10 a.m. We'll get to that decision in a few minutes. Hold it in the back of your mind. This is Augment Mind. We build the systems behind the work, not just the work itself. The attention heist nobody sees. Let's call this what it is. You are in a fight you didn't sign up for. Right now, as you watch this, there is a multi-billion-dollar industry, staffed by some of the smartest software engineers and behavioral scientists on the planet, working full-time on one goal: making sure you look away from this video. They want you to check that notification, open that next tab, scroll 1 inch further. We live in an attention economy. Your focus isn't just a personal asset anymore. It's a commodity. It's being bought, sold, and traded every second of the day. And if you feel like your attention span has shrunk to the size of a goldfish's, here's the truth. You're not broken. You're just unarmored. Willpower alone is a plastic knife against an algorithmic gunfight. So we're not going to talk about willpower today. We're going to build the armor. The hidden cost of the quick glance. Most people think distraction looks like this. You sit down to work, give up, and watch cat videos for 2 hours. That's not the real problem. The real damage isn't the macro distractions. It's the micro ones, the 4-second glances, the "let me just check this real quick." Psychologists have a name for what happens in your brain when you do that. It's called attention residue. When you switch from task A to task B, your attention doesn't immediately follow. A piece of your cognitive horsepower stays stuck on task A. Research out of UC Irvine measured this. The average return to deep focus time after a single interruption is 23 minutes and 15 seconds. That quick glance at your phone? It just cost you almost half an hour of peak cognitive performance, because part of your brain is still actively processing that notification. Now do the math. If you check your phone 4 times in an hour, you are literally never reaching deep work. You're just skimming the surface of your own intelligence. You're living in permanent cognitive whiplash, and you're calling it productivity. Here's where most people get this completely wrong. They try to fix this with discipline, with trying harder. And they fail every time, because trying harder is exactly the wrong layer to fight this battle on. Re-engineer your environment. Stop relying on willpower. Hard truth. Willpower is a finite resource. It runs out by lunchtime. If your phone is sitting next to your keyboard, you don't actually have to resist it 12 times an hour. You have to resist it the one time your willpower is depleted. And that one time you'll lose. So we stop relying on willpower. We rely on environment design instead. The principle is simple. Make distraction high friction. Make focus low friction. Here's the 3-step digital remodel. Step 1. The out-of-sight rule. Your brain is intensely visual. If a distraction is in your line of sight, you're spending energy ignoring it, even when you think you're not. Don't put your phone on silent. Don't flip it face down. Put it in another room, in a closed drawer, in a bag in the closet. Out of sight is genuinely out of mind. This isn't superstition, B. It's measurable cognitive load. Step 2. Radical notification culling. Tonight, go into your settings. Turn off every single notification that does not come from a real human being trying to reach you in real time. Your food app does not need to interrupt your life to tell you tacos are on sale. Your game does not need to ping you because your energy refilled. If it's an automated ping, kill it. Step 3. Nuke the tabs. Treat browser tabs like physical paper. If you have 30 tabs open, that's the mental equivalent of working at a desk buried under 3 feet of garbage. Use a tab manager, one tab, session buddy, or just close them. The rule is one tab, the one you're working in. That's it. The friction formula and time blocking. Now that the environment is clean, here's the second layer. The friction formula. Bad habits are usually frictionless. Good habits are usually friction-heavy. To rebuild focus, flip the script. Make distraction annoying. Make focus the easy option. Want to stop checking Instagram during work? Log out of every account on desktop. Delete the saved passwords. Make yourself manually type a 16-character password every time the urge hits. That's just enough friction for your conscious brain to step in and ask, wait, what am I actually doing right now? That tiny pause is everything. That's where you reclaim the decision. Time blocking. The focus calendar. Once friction is in place, you need to schedule the focus. This is where time blocking comes in. Once friction is in place, you need to schedule the focus. This is where time blocking comes in. Most people wake up, open their email, and let other people's agendas dictate their day. By 10 a.m., they're already drained. Not from working, but from reacting. Instead, block the first 90 minutes of your day for your single most complex, highest value task. No email, no meetings, no quick checks. Just 90 minutes of pure execution. If you do nothing else for the rest of the day, you've already won. And here's the part no one tells you. The people who consistently produce extraordinary work aren't working longer hours. They're protecting one 90-minute block better than everyone else. Mastering internal triggers. But let's be honest, even with a perfect environment and a beautiful schedule, you will still feel the urge to drift. Why? Because distraction isn't actually a technology problem. It's an emotional regulation problem. When you sit down to write something hard, code something complex, or think through a real problem, you hit a wall. The task feels vague, or boring, or you don't know where to start. A flash of anxiety, a small wave of self-doubt. And your brain, which is wired to escape discomfort, looks for the nearest exit. Your phone is a magic portal that kills that discomfort in 2 seconds. That's what makes it so dangerous. It's not stealing your time, it's offering you relief. The 10-minute rule. Here's how you train through it. When you're working and the urge hits, to check the phone, open a new tab, switch tasks, tell yourself you can do it. Just not right now. You have to wait exactly 10 minutes. During those 10 minutes, you have 2 choices. Keep working, or sit there and stare at the wall. What you cannot do is switch to a different distraction. 90% of the time, once you push through that initial wave of discomfort, your brain settles in. The urge fades, and you enter flow. You don't need willpower to stop the urge. You just need the tolerance to ride out the first 10 minutes. The 90-second decision. Remember the 90-second decision I mentioned at the start? The one that determines whether deep focus is even possible for you that day? Here it is. It happens within the first 90 seconds of waking up. The moment you reach for your phone before your eyes even fully open. You hand over your attention before your brain has chosen anything for itself. You're not starting the day. The day is starting you. You're 30 seconds in and you're already reacting to a notification, a news headline, someone else's emergency. Your dopamine baseline crashes through the floor before you've had water. And here's the consequence. Every focus task that day will feel harder than it should. Because you've already taught your brain, within the first 90 seconds, that input comes from outside, not inside. The fix is simple, even if it feels impossible at first. Phone stays in another room overnight. First 30 minutes of the day, no screens, water, sunlight. One single intention written down. That's it. You're not optimizing your morning. You're protecting your starting point. If this is hitting, if you're realizing your focus has been getting hijacked at the architectural level, hit subscribe. Augment Mind is built around exactly this. The systems behind doing real work in a world that's actively trying to stop you. Every week, one new system. And if you want the cognitive layer underneath all of this, The audio I used during my own deep work blocks is linked in the description. It's called the Genius Wave, and it's tuned to the brainwave frequencies linked to peak focus and creative output. Look, building deep focus in this era is an act of rebellion. When you take back your attention, you take back the only resource that compounds. You stop reacting to the loudest voice in the room and start listening to your own intentions. You stop being a consumer of other people's narratives and start becoming the creator of your own work. It won't happen overnight. Your focus is a muscle. Right now, it might be weak. Years of algorithmic conditioning will do that. That's okay. Tomorrow morning, do one thing. Give yourself a single 45-minute block of absolute, uninterrupted focus. Phone in the other room. Tabs closed. One task. Sit through the discomfort. See what your mind builds when you finally stop letting the world tear it down. That's the rebellion. That's where it starts. But here's the thing. Environment, friction, and the 10-minute rule only fix half the equation. The other half lives in your sleep architecture. Because the brain you sit down with at 9 a.m. was built the night before. And most creators are sabotaging their focus before they ever open their laptop.